Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Haute Bella experience. In today's video, I am going to be creating this gorgeous all matte eye look using the Viseart Grand Pro 1 pigment palette. I picked this up during the most recent VIB sale from Sephora, and I had my eye on this palette for quite some time. This was one of those purchases where I had thought about it long and hard. This item had been in and out of my cart several times, but I went ahead and bit the bullet, and I went ahead and purchased this palette. And this is what the actual palette looks like. This is a gorgeous palette. There are 30 gorgeous pigments in this palette. And this is a very interesting palette. Not only is it all matte, but all of these shades were made with the human complexion in mind. So this one palette has shades that are made to match every skin tone. So that's really interesting. I think that this is a great palette to have if you are a makeup artist, to have it in your kit. And if you are a makeup enthusiast and you love a good matte look, I think that this palette is also a very good investment to have. You would be guaranteed to create just about any shade of matte look that you could think of using this palette. I think this look turned out beautifully, and if you'd like to see how I created this look, then keep watching. My face has been cleansed. I toned my face using my ELEMIS Rehydrating Ginseng toner. I then followed up with my fresh black tea kombucha facial essence, and I moisturized with my Confidence in a Cream from IT Cosmetics. And for my primer today, I used the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer, and I used my P. Louise eyeshadow base to prep my eyes for today's look. And for my brow bone highlight, I don't see a shade in this Viseart Grand Pro palette that I want to use as a highlight, so I'm going to go to my default highlight. And my default highlight is a highlighter. This highlighter is from Becca and it's in the shade Rose Gold. Yeah, so again, it doesn't have to be this particular one. Any highlighter will do. And for today's eye look, I'm going to primarily focus on shadows that are in these two columns right here. So for my transition shade, I am going to start off using this shade right here. This is pretty dark, but this is a pigment palette, so I should be able to build it up to the level of intensity that I'd like. So I'm going to try to use this as my transition shade. And before I apply my shadows, I'm going to go ahead and tap out any creases that may have formed in my eyeshadow base at this point. I did not set my eyeshadow base either. I normally don't set my eyeshadow base, and I'm hoping that that doesn't cause me any problems with these shadows. So that was one tap into the pan. That's this shade right here, and this is what I've gotten so far. So yeah, the pigmentation is definitely there. I'm going to build this up a little bit more. This is a gorgeous shade. Very pretty. And now I'm going to try using this shade right here. I am going to use this shade on my outer V and sweep it into the crease. Very deep shade. Only takes a little bit of this. Definitely got the pigmentation there. Taking my time with this as well and building it up slowly. And to pick this pigment up on the brush, I'm using my Sonia G Essential 5i brush set. But to pick this up, or to pick the pigmentation up, or to get it onto the brush, I'm just tapping into this eyeshadow very lightly. And it is giving me great payoff. I'm going back in with the same brush that I used to apply my transition shade, and I'm just gently blending a little bit on the top side here. Just a little tickle is all it is, not very much. Just a little tickle. I've done my little half cut crease type situation that I always do, and I'm going to go back in and soften up the edges of where I have added my P. Louise eyeshadow base here to carve out that lid. And I'm going back into this shade right here. Just a gentle tap is all I need, and I'm going to soften up the edges here just a little bit. I think I want to switch to a different brush. I need one that's a little bit more fluffy. This is my Sigma E38, I believe this is. I believe this is an E38. Let's try this one. Yeah, I think I like this, the way this is blending out better with this brush. And now that I've got that all blended out, I'm going to go into this shade right here, and I'm going to use my MAC 242, and I am going to place this on the area where I have carved out my lid that's still open here, and I'm just going to tap right into this, load it up here on my brush like so, tap it off a little bit, and I'm going to stamp this on. I'm going to go back into this shade here once again, and I'm going to use my MAC 242 once again. I've cleaned it off, so I no longer have this shade on there. So clean MAC 242 brush, going back into this shade right here, and I'm going to do a little bit more blending. I want to marry these two shades together just a little bit more. I'm now going to use my small blending brush from Sigma, and I'm going to go back into this shade right here. This is the shade that I used as my transition shade, and I'm going to add a little bit more definition into the area where I've had to manipulate my natural crease line. I like how this all matte look is turning out, so I'm going to go ahead and add my liner and my lashes, and I'll be right back. My liner and my lashes are done. I also did some color correcting. I used my Tatcha Pearl under my eyes and my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in the shade SX14 in my mouth area. And I'm going to use my Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This is in the shade Warm Sand. And I am going to conceal using this product. It's been a while since I've used this, so I'm going to use it today. And I'm using one of the Fenty matchsticks. This is in the shade Truffle, and I'm using this to do some cream contouring. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid highlighter, and I'm going to use the NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator. This is in the color Pure Gold. I'm going to apply this right on the highest parts of my cheekbones. I'm using a Real Techniques brush, and I'm gently applying that onto my skin. I want a highlight, but I want to keep it a little subtle, I guess, for this look. I always say that, and then I end up adding more, but we'll see. I'll go ahead and put a little bit down the bridge of my nose here. Hit the Cupid's bow. It is now time for foundation, and I am going to use the Cover FX Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation. I'm in the shade G90. This is a really nice foundation. I'm going to set my under eye area using the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. This is in the shade Translucent Medium. And before I apply my setting powder, I want to make sure I don't have any creases that have settled in, because I don't want to set the creases. So just tap this out one more time. Under eyes are set. And to set my entire face, I'm going to use the Cover FX Translucent Setting Powder. This is in the shade Translucent Deep. This may be a little bit too deep for my winter complexion, but we're going to go with it. So yeah, this may be a better summertime setting powder than it is winter, but it's not too bad. Plus, I like this powder. I like the Cover FX setting powder. I like it quite a bit. And before I add any more powders to this look, I'm going to go ahead and spritz with my MAC Fix Plus. It is time for blush, and I'm going to use this Sephora blush palette. This blush palette is called Spice Market. I'm going to use this shade right here, and I'm going to apply a little blush to this look. It is time to smoke out my waterline. I am going to go back into the Viseart Grand Pro 1 palette, and I am going to use this shade, which is the darkest shade in this eye look already. I'm going to use this on the waterline towards the outer portion of the waterline here. Then I think I'm going to add a little bit of this shade right here. This is more of that berry type of shade that I have going on that I used as my transition. And I think for my inner corner, I'm not going to use a shimmer shade. I think I'm going to go into one of these lighter shades. And I think it's going to be this shade right here. We'll try that and see. But let's go ahead and start off with our darker colors on this waterline first. It is now time for lips, and I'm going to use this lip pencil. This pencil is from ColourPop, and it's in the shade Ellery. I really love the ColourPop lip pencils because they are so creamy. I'm going to use this lip gloss from Mented. This is in the shade Berry Me, B-E-R-R-Y-M-E. And this look is done. The Grand Pro 1 palette from Viseart is a gorgeous palette. As I mentioned, this is an all matte palette, and the pigmentation is definitely there. I was able to get awesome color payoff from every shade that I used to create this look. I cannot wait to use this palette again, and I am so glad that I have added it to my collection. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.